In this video, Kevin and I are going to be talking about the movies and TV shows that we enjoy during the month of February. So February is a short month. However, we really did not watch a lot during the month of February either, just because we decided to really hyper-focus on a couple of shows
to finish them up.
And which is a shame, because then you don't have, then they're over.
But we have plenty of other ones to watch.
Oh yes, we have so many more to come in and take their place. So we watched, we finished Kingdom. So we talked about Kingdom, I'm pretty sure, in January's video.
Maybe even a month before that.
Yeah, but we actually finished Kingdom. Kingdom only has 3 seasons, and it's about MMA fighters. It was a recommended show, and whoever recommended it, you don't even know how much I appreciate it, because it's probably one of the best shows I've watched in a long time for me.
You know what, MMA, it is about MMA fighters. However, it's really about the family.
It's about the family
and the group around that family.
Yes.
That's who it's really about.
And the relationship and the people who come to work at this gym and work out in the gym.
I mean, it is about the fighting too, but it's really more about the family.
About them being a family, and ultimately how much they care about everybody who comes in there to train, and about those people. Show. It was a very, very good show. When it ended, they were not ready for the show to end. So they did not know that it was going to be canceled. And unfortunately, it's bad when that happens, because then the writers don't have the opportunity to really, really wrap up some things.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I think I read afterwards, I read, like, were they ready to end the show? And they said that they had actually filmed this a few months before they found out it was canceled.
Right.
So there was absolutely no opportunity for them to even write a quick, ending wrap-up thing. And when that's happened before for some shows, they'll come up with a special episode and kind of wrap it all up. They didn't do that.
I wish they would come out with a special episode.
That's been too long ago.
Because there's been certain things that, you can't even think about everything right when it ends. So then days go by and you think about, like, little things that were going on, and what about this issue, and what about this that was going on, and I wish that they would come out with at least one more.
But of course, it's been 5 years
ago. That won't happen. So but if you have not watched it,
it's good.
Adult show.
It's a little violent.
It's a little violent. There's sex in it. There's cussing, and I mean, it has everything in it. But I thought it was a wonderful show.
It was a good show.
We also we are watching The Last of Us. The Last of Us is a brand new show on HBO Max, and
based on the video game. A
lot of people are watching this right now, so it still is coming out.
Yeah.
So a global pandemic has hit. And it reminds me very, very, very much of The Walking Dead.
It's very similar.
It's very similar to The Walking Dead.
And just like The Walking Dead, The Walking Dead weren't the worst part of the show. It's the other humans.
It's the people.
Yeah, that's true in this show too.
Which I think that would truly happen. I think that would be what you would have to worry about, really, is people. Because...
got to search for that power.
Yeah.
Power and control.
Now, do you like the show?
I've liked it okay. It's not been a bad show by any means, but it's so similar to how The Walking Dead kind of...
It's like the same formula. I mean,
it is kind of, I mean, the goal is different, because The Walking Dead, the goal was survive.
Right.
This one's more about the survive part's kind of already there. It's now about
getting from point A to point B.
Yeah, kind of. And they're trying to find a group of people. So it's good. I mean, the writing is good. I think the acting has been very, very good. I don't think there's really any cheesy actors or anything in there.
No.
Because sometimes you watch these shows and you're like, ooh, that's cringy acting. This has been pretty good.
I think they're all good actors.
The visual effects have been really good.
We were really surprised to see, Kevin and I watched True Blood back when it was out. And we were surprised that a character from True Blood is in this one.
And Fringe, one of the characters from Fringe is in this show.
Yes. And I also think it has surprised me that they have had, there was, if you ever watched the Stephen King's Rose Red, Annie's sister, Annie's older sister, she's in there.
Like I said, there's a lot of, I think it's well done.
I think it's well done. It has surprised me, the people during the show so far that have been expendable, because, and I won't go into it.
It's like the game.
But when you, most of the time, when you have a movie that comes out, an action movie, well, you know that this character, if they get Tom Hanks for this movie, Tom Hanks is not going to be one of the first ones to die, because they want him to be, you know that he's going to be
Not
there
usually.
till the end. Not
there
usually.
has been some surprises like this of big characters in the movie and they die in like the first 5 minutes. You're like,
Right. But 9
That's not
times
normal.
out of 10,
Right.
that's not how it happens.
Right.
With this show, I have been shocked that they have had some people who are terrific, have terrific acting skills, and they don't last, and you're like, wow, they really wasted that person's acting skills, because that person would have been good to keep around to the end.
But they're basing on the game.
Because they can really act, yeah.
But
And see, I don't
but
know anything about the game.
The game that happens in the game. So.
Yeah, but Kevin is enjoying it. I'm not. I will watch it just because we started it, and surely to goodness there aren't going to be that many episodes. For me, it's not a happy show.
Oh, it's not a happy show.
Now, you're like, okay, how was Kingdom happy? And this, you're saying this isn't happy? This is different. I don't like it when when people are mean and gang up on other people. I don't like that. I don't like watching it. I'm uncomfortable with it. I do not like that at all. It's just an icky feeling to me. So for me, it is not an enjoyable show
I think
at
that's
all.
the whole point of the show.
But I'll watch. I will at least. I don't know how many seasons are going to be. I'll watch this season, but I don't know that I'll watch it again, just because it doesn't bring me joy. So
it's a darker show.
Kingdom did bring me joy. I actually liked Kingdom.
It's a darker show too sometimes.
Then we watched the Traitors, the U.S. version. So the first one we watched was the British version.
Yeah, UK.
And then we watched Australia, and then we watched the U.S. What was interesting about the U.S. version is that it takes place in the same castle as the UK version.
It's almost a carbon copy, just different people.
Yes.
There's a few little changes here and there for the
Very
little competitions, but most of it's very similar.
Like the same setup, the same game. So like if you're in the UK and you couldn't see the American version, think about the where they spun the wheel. They put the person on the wheel and they spun them.
Same
and
thing.
That ringing the bells and
Exactly.
having to determine what song it was.
Different songs.
The
but
music boxes.
Yeah.
It's all the same
Escape from
stuff.
the Room. Although the Escape from the Room, they did change that one a little bit. Where the UK version, it was just the Escape from the Room. In the American version, they were dropping like mealworms and bugs and stuff on them the whole time.
It was weird. It was like I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. Where they're dropping bugs on them. That's what happened in that. It was called like
American
the
version.
Scary Shack or
Right.
something. That was the.
Anyway, it was good.
What was cool about the U.S. version, though, is it had, if you watched Rachel in Big Brother, Rachel, and I think she and Brandon, they were on The Amazing Race, too. So she was on there. Stephanie from Survivor was on there. Siri from Survivor was on there. Brandy Glanville from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
There was other celebrities too.
There was
The
other
Bachelor and
we don't watch The Bachelor, so he wasn't important to me. But my sister said, there's a blonde on there from one of those Real Housewives shows. You'll probably know her when you see her. I saw her and I was like, oh my gosh, they got Brandy Glanville. And I told Kevin about her. I said, she is a train wreck. I can't even believe they would ask her, but I'm sure they knew she would be on there.
and another one from like Lower Decks or something.
Yeah, I
like
don't
that.
watch Below Deck.
Below Deck.
I don't watch that.
But there was another girl from
yes.
that. She was just as bad.
She was horrible. She's a horrible person. I did not like her at all. It made me glad that I didn't watch Below Deck because I didn't like her. I thought, gosh, she's just a snot. She's very snotty. But it was good. It was a good season of the Traitors. Can't wait until they do it again. We watched a movie that I did not like it at all.
I mean, it's not a great movie.
Okay. It was.
It's not the traditional
Okay, it was recommended, and this is why when somebody recommends something, normally when somebody recommends something that I don't like, I just don't mention it. I don't say we watched it, we didn't watch it, whatever. I just don't mention it because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. This was a recommended movie, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you what it was because this person has recommended it several times, and I want them to know we watched it. The Batman, 2022. It was 3 minutes or 4 minutes shy of 3 hours. 3 hours of my life.
And you felt every minute of it.
That I'll never get back.
This is the Robert Pattinson movie.
Yes, Robert Pattinson was the Batman, and
it's more of it's not a traditional Batman, him going out and fighting against people. It just wasn't that kind of Batman movie. I enjoyed all the other Batmans better.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I mean, even going back, to way, way back.
Did George Clooney do Batman? Or no? Did he ever do Batman? I don't know. I'm just guessing. I haven't watched them. I'm just guessing.
I don't know. It's been so long, so
he would make a good Batman.
Yeah, I know Michael Keaton did.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Michael Keaton did, and everybody was surprised that he did such a good job at it because Michael Keaton's kind of a goofy, funny guy,
right?
And he did a really good job. So anyway, but I liked every one of them. This one was more like a CSI TV episode more than anything. Just drug out to a 3 hour long CSI show.
It went on and on and on. And the whole thing, the difference. Okay, so you have DC and Marvel. The difference is like this DC, all of the Batman movies are dark. They're dark and they feel heavy.
Although the Michael Keaton ones weren't as dark.
But it still was dark.
It still was
dark, I think, because I tried to watch it and I didn't make it all the way through that one. I'll be honest, I did not make it all the way through it because when Andrew was little, I tried watching it with Andrew. This one, I made up my mind. It had been recommended, and I thought I'm going to sit here and I'm going to finish this movie.
George Clooney was Batman in one.
He was okay, and I thought I'm going to watch this. Just so that I can say I watched it, and I did not like it. Would never watch it again. It's so dark. And Marvel's just lighter and brighter, and
it is. There's a lot more action,
and it's more fun, and it's better music, and it's just all of it is just so much better.
Yeah, George Clooney was in the Batman and Robin one, which that was one I didn't really. That one wasn't a great one.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, he was in one.
I know the name. I don't know.
Val Kilmer was in one.
Oh, Val Kilmer. Yeah.
Ben Affleck.
I told you all a couple months ago.
Michael Keaton.
There's a really, really good, and Kevin hasn't watched it yet. I'd like for him to watch it. Documentary that Val Kilmer did. Yeah. So good. It's really, really interesting.
Well, anyway, that one was. If you like a darker
slow
crime show, then that would be okay.
So slow. Yeah. So if you've recommended something to me over and over again and I haven't mentioned it, I wouldn't mention it again. If it's been mentioned, because there's certain TV shows that people have mentioned, and I have given them a chance, and it's like, my gosh, this is like, I hate this, and I'm trying to be polite. So if you've mentioned something several times, just try something new.
You see every one of them, so
I see everyone. So just try something new.
And just like the Last of Us, I've told her she didn't have to watch anymore. She didn't want to, but she wants to stick with it and finish it out.
Yeah, I just don't care for that. Okay, so then I'm watching a show by myself. Well, I watched it. It was 6 episodes, and I hope it comes back again. This was a recommended. Love it. It's called Maternal. It's 2023. It is a drama about 3 doctors returning to post-pandemic frontline medicine after maternity leave. So it's
all 3 of them are returning from maternity leave?
All 3 of them. So it's like it's a doctor show, and it's like watching ER, but the main focus is these 3 female doctors. I mean, there's men in there too that are leading men, but it's mainly about these 3 women and their lives, and it's so good. I love it. I think it's terrific. And the funny thing is one of the main doctors was a doctor in ER years ago. Mm-hmm. I think she played Neela or something like that. She's the one that played in
She's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but she played in that soccer movie.
Oh,
Bend It Like Beckham. Isn't she the same one? And that was really, really good. So I appreciate that recommendation. It's a really good show, adult show, but it's nice. I have watched several documentaries, and I have so many more to go on YouTube. They're free. The Redeemed, The Dominant, The Fittest on Earth, Resurgent, and Fittest on Earth Next Gen. All three of those are CrossFit documentaries. And all three of them are probably 2 hours a piece. You can watch them. I'm assuming anybody, I watch them for free on YouTube. I don't have any special service on YouTube. And there's so many more documentaries on there that I have to go. But it is about CrossFit and CrossFit competitions. And Kevin and I are really into watching the World's Strongest Man competitions and stuff like that.
Interesting.
So it's like, I've told Kevin, it's amazing to me. A lot of these competitions they do at CrossFit are like what they do in the show Survivor. And it amazes me that regular people go on Survivor
and do this stuff,
who have never trained for anything, and they're crawling under these ropes and climbing up walls and stuff. They're doing this on these CrossFit games. And these people train. It is their job to train. And they're doing this, and it's fantastic. I wrote down, I love Tia Toomey, I love Katrin Davis' daughter, Annie Thor's daughter. Those are probably my three favorites, but I love watching any of them. And you've watched a little bit.
I've seen pieces of it.
Yeah. But I think it's fascinating, and if you like watching competition shows, just know you can get on YouTube and watch that.
There seems to be a little more fast-paced than World's Strongest Man.
It is.
World's Strongest Man is a slower, they hold things, they lift things, and it's a slower pace. This seems to be they're just running like mad rabbits.
Yes, yeah.
I saw one, they were on a treadmill. Not a treadmill, a bicycle.
Yeah.
And they had to burn so many calories.
Before they could move on.
So they were pedaling their little asses off.
Yeah.
And then they had to get off and run and do 20 squats and then get back on the bike. And it was they were just...
Yes,
constantly.
Yeah, it is. That's what it's like. It's let's see how hard that we can make your body go.
Yeah, and how fast you can do it.
Yeah.
It was craziness.
Okay, and then I think
we covered all those.
Okay, the last thing we have is... those are all three the same. 1, 2, 3. Those are all the CrossFit.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I just did it different. Okay, so the last thing, we just finished this. And we can actually talk about it.
Because it was last season.
It was last season. We watched Survivor Australia. And I know there's Survivor Australia is coming on right now. We will start that ASAP. But we decided to watch Blood versus Water first. So this is last season of Survivor Australia. What Americans might find very interesting is, Sandra from American Survivor.
They invited her to be on that one.
Yeah, she's worked with Boston Rob and people like that on our Survivor. They invited her and her daughter. Her daughter's name is... Nina. Yeah. They invited Sandra and Nina to be on the Australian Survivor, which we thought it was cool. But Blood versus Water, it was neat because they came in as a pair. It would be like me and Kevin going on Survivor together, and me and Kevin thinking, we're going to get to play this game together. Well, the first thing they did was they split up all the couples.
Mm-hmm. So they're competing against each other.
You competing, yes. And so, like I said, we can speak about this freely because it was last season.
So if you haven't watched it,
just tune out now because we probably won't talk about anything else. I can tell you, Australian Survivor is different.
It's different but the same.
Yes. They did some things that made me furious on there. It didn't make me furious. It was frustrating. It was so frustrating. They did things.
And we don't know if that's a this season thing or all the time.
All the time.
So we'll figure it out once we watch this next season.
I was so frustrated because they've never done this on our version of Survivor.
Not this directly.
No. It ticked me off. It went all through me. There was a girl that I was dying for them to vote out. Her name, I'll tell you her name, Sophie. Her name was Sophie, and I couldn't stand her. I mean, there's just certain people you like, certain people you don't like. I could not stand Sophie. I wanted Sophie gone from day one. She's very blunt and aggressive, and I just don't deal well with that personality. And so I wanted her gone. Well, they've gone through all this trouble to conspire and talk behind each other's backs and everything to get this person out. They get to tribal council. The team votes her out. And you know what they do? They said, okay, you're not out. You can go on the other team, and now you can play on the other team.
So they just shifted her.
How is that fair?
Yeah.
They've never, to my knowledge, that I can ever remember,
not
done
directly
that,
like that
in our Survivor.
They've done like competitions where you had to go off somewhere and then compete to come back, or
but that's different than saying, okay, you've
shifting.
been voted out of this team, so just to keep you on the show for ratings, I guess, because other people hate you so much, we're going to put you on the other team so you can cause turmoil over there.
But they did it
twice.
A couple times.
Yeah, they did it twice. And then there was some other.
And then they sent them to purgatory.
Yeah.
And they sent, basically, you vote them out, you vote them out, you vote them out.
They sent 4 people.
They sent 4 people. What was bad about that was they didn't just bring one person had the opportunity to come back. Only one person actually left. 3 people got to come back in.
3 people came back in the game.
And if it had been one, which is what they do over in the U.S., they have this competition between like 4 people, but only one person gets to come back another shot. You know, it's a second chance.
Right.
This one, they let 3 people have a second chance. So that whole group came in as a block together. It was just... I didn't like it because I'm thinking...
I didn't either.
Once they've gone to the trouble of voting you out, I can understand having a little dig in there to where you compete to come back, but not, let's just bring pretty much all of you back.
Yeah, because they've been...
it was like useless. Why did you send those 4 people off and then let 3 of them come back anyway? I mean, it was like, why didn't you just keep the 4 in there?
Well, I told Kevin, I said, if they knew they were going to do that from the get-go, they should have had more people entering the game. If they didn't have enough people, and that's another thing.
It's longer.
This show, this is on for 24.
Yeah, it's 50. The American Survivor is 39 days. Theirs is 50 days.
Right. So there are 24 episodes, but also they're over an hour.
Yeah.
They're like hour and 15 minutes or something like that. They're also longer episodes. So over here, Survivor's only like 45 minutes long because of commercials. So the big difference I've noticed too is that Tribal Council last a long time.
Yeah, there's a lot more question and answer, and
it's like
what do you think? And what do you think? How do you think that impacted the tribe? And he's really getting in there.
Yeah, he's really getting in there and asking them all these questions. And I do like the host.
And they may be doing that here too. They just edit it down.
I think
we don't
they
see
edit
as
it.
much.
Yeah, I definitely think Jeff Probst is doing that here. I think it's edited out, whereas we're actually getting to see much more there. Mm-hmm. But his name's Jonathan. And I like it though.
I like him.
He instead of saying, like, when they get ready to go vote, instead of saying, Sandra, go vote, he'll look at them.
He'll look at them and go.
And he'll give them this little look, and it's so cute.
Wink at them
it's adorable. Yeah. He'll give them this little, it's like a little flirty look, and so he doesn't even have to say, and he even does that to the guys and the girls. So he doesn't even have to say their name for them to get to know, they just make that eye contact.
Well, I'm sure they've said before they start recording, you're next.
You're right.
And then he gives them the look.
But I do like, I did like it, and it was wonderful getting to watch Survivor Australia. It was interesting too that the area where they were in, they did a lot of water focused competitions.
Almost everything was in the water.
Yes, it was, a lot of it was in the water.
And some of it was a lot more physical than what we have here.
We said there were at least 2 competitions that we said they would not have done here because
they'd be afraid of somebody getting hurt.
Sued. They would be too afraid of getting sued to where they allowed them to do things over there that they would not have allowed them to do here.
I can't imagine allowing them to do it here.
Like one of the competitions, they had to constantly, they were going up and down steps over and over again really quick. I don't think they would have wanted them to do that here because...
if they tripped and fell.
If somebody fell. I was wondering, they had the last competition they had to do was they basically had to lean over a waterfall and hold themselves up from falling out. Do you think they would have allowed them to do that here?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You do?
Yeah, because they would have just fallen in the water. It's
Okay.
yeah. I mean, technically, you could have hit your head on a spike or on one of the handles or something, but I think they would have done it.
There was something else too, though. There was
some other one
that we were like, they wouldn't let them do that here because it would. Oh, all those fights in the water.
Yeah, there were a lot of like
oh my gosh,
wrestling type fights, and they've done those on our Survivor.
Yeah, they have. But there were more of them.
There were
more.
more.
Like we have like one-on-one, skin-to-skin contact. This one, there were several,
Yeah,
and it was
a bunch
like
of the beginning ones were
brutal,
like
absolutely brutal looking. But I did
was it the
enjoy
slide?
watching
Was it the water slide that we were thinking they probably wouldn't do that here? Because they were just running and diving down.
They
the
were
slide.
diving down that slide. I don't know, but I do think they were allowed to do riskier things to where they would get hurt.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's all that we watched during February.
Yeah, just the normal shows, Young Sheldon and
The Connors.
the Connors,
We're
the
still
regular
watching
the regular TV
Connors.
shows we always
We're
watch.
still watching Call Me Kat, which I'm not enjoying
I'm
as
so
much as I
done.
was at the beginning.
Yeah, because at one time I was like, I'm done with the show. I can't imagine this going on anymore. And you were like, no, I think it's still okay. Even you've gotten to that point now.
Well,
That's silly.
we've said before, Leslie Jordan died, and he was a big part of the show for me. I mean, I love Kat. I love her. She's the one that played Amy Farrah Fowler in Big Bang Theory. And I don't want to mispronounce her name. That's why I'm not saying her name. But she's of course the main person. But you know, he was a big part of the show too, and he died. And now they brought on somebody else.
Goofy.
And
He's not funny. He's just goofy.
He's goofy.
And they've made her be. I mean, she was always quirky. Now they've made her just over the top, silly.
Yeah.
She's like, you know, and it's like.
Yeah, I don't know. It's lost some of its charm for me too. I don't know how long that show will be on.
Yeah. The Apprentice.
Oh, we're watching The Apprentice, and I didn't even write that down. I mentioned it last
Well, that's
time.
why I always bring my phone in here.
Yeah, we're watching The Apprentice, and we're very much enjoying that as always. The Apprentice UK with Lord Sugar. It's a good show. It's great to see different parts of the UK. And the personalities on the show, you know, they're all different. And when it comes to when they get in that boardroom, you know, they seem like they're okay when they're in the house.
Like getting along with each other.
Yeah, but then when they get in that boardroom,
it's cutthroat.
We don't mind throwing him under the bus at all. So I'm surprised. For me, I would hold on to that personally. And
not be all huggy when you get back to the house.
No, I'd be like, are you kidding me? You were just talking about me like a dog in the boardroom. You think I'm going to watch TV with you now? It ain't happening. But now they seem to get along fine outside the boardroom.
The Mandalorian starting.
Yeah, we haven't watched. Yeah,
It's starting Wednesday.
Okay.
The American Survivor starts Wednesday.
Oh wow. Okay.
One of your Real Housewives.
I'm watching Real Housewives of New Jersey. That's the.
I think that's Orange County.
And if you watch the Real Housewives of New Jersey, my favorite person. If you watch it, tell me who your favorite person is in the comments below. My favorite person is Dolores. I think it's Dolores Catania is how you pronounce her last name. I love her. I think she's wonderful. I could hang with her and get along with her. I think she is down to earth. I just think she's a very, very likable person. I don't think she's full of herself. Whereas some of the people on there, you could tell if they could look in a mirror and just kiss the mirror all day long, they would, because they love themselves so much. She just seems like just a down-to-earth person that I really, really like her. So you'll have to let me know if you're watching it this season and what you, because they've have added a new person. They got rid of a person. So yeah, I would like to know your thoughts about that. But we're gonna start watching that 1923. I want to start watching that. We do have lots of shows to watch, but as always, feel free to give your recommendations, as long as when we say we don't like it, you don't get offended. So
everybody's tastes are different.
Everybody's tastes are different, and you know, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So when we don't like something, I would just really rather not bring it up. So like I said, if you've put something for months and months and you haven't heard me mention it, I probably have watched it and I didn't care for it. Because usually I'll give it a watch, and then if it's good enough for that I think Kevin will like it, then we'll watch it together. If not, I just like that show Maternal. It's a really, really good show, and Kevin would enjoy it too. But that's something that I can just watch on my own, because we have so many shows to watch together that I really have to be pickier about what we're going to spend our TV time on. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave us a comment and a like the video if you liked it, and we'll see you at the end of March.